Hello, welcome to my world. If you have made it here, then you are supposed to be here, and I am happy that you are. For today's video, I will be talking about the artist's way. So I decided to give this book a try because I am at a point in my artistic career where I need a little bit of guidance. For 7 years, I had my dream job in 2D animation. I absolutely loved it. It was what I've always wanted to do ever since I was 4 years old and saw The Little Mermaid. And it was great. I loved it. I worked in studios, I worked from home, I worked on 2 very popular shows and a lot of not so popular shows, but I really enjoyed it. It was like getting paid to do what I love. It did not feel like work. It wasn't perfect. Like, there were times where I didn't get along with a coworker or 2 or a supervisor, but 98% of the time we all got along really well and I really enjoyed my work. Unfortunately, nothing good lasts forever. And about 3 years ago, I noticed that my coworkers were starting to lose their jobs. I was lucky enough that I still had a contract for a year and 3 months, but after that was over in March of 2024, I have not worked in the industry since. My co-workers have not worked in the industry since, and also the 3 supervisors I'm still in contact with can't find a job, so a lot of us have moved on. Some of my co-workers sell their art at art markets or online. Some moved on to interior design. Some went back to retail. I took some time off in 2024 to travel. And then last year, I started to sell my watercolor art at a brick and mortar store here. So I sell my stickers, prints, bookmarks at this shop. I'm also doing some other little projects like book illustration and an illustrated calendar for 2027. Also, I do like little personal animations on Procreate because I don't want to lose that skill, and I also want to learn more about animation because you're just constantly learning. But anyway, I'm at that point in my artistic career where I'm like, what's next? What do I do now? So I decided to give this book a go, and about a year ago, everyone I knew recommended it to me, and I saw a copy of it in Australia when I went to visit last year. I had a look at it, and my first impression was, this is way too woo-woo for me. It mentions God too much, and I'm not religious, so I don't think it's for me. But now, it's a year later, and I am going to try this. I'm going to read it, do the exercises, and hopefully it guides me somewhere. I'm going into this with a little bit of hope, a lot of skepticism, and a bit of, let's just see where it goes. So the first thing I did was read the introduction, and I noticed how she wrote about how she got sober. And I was also doing Sober January at the time. Is it a coincidence? Maybe. Am I supposed to be doing this book? Also maybe. So we'll see how it goes. I also went through, and every time the word God came up, I crossed it out and put kindness, because the author does encourage you to find your own version of God that you believe in, whether that's the universe or a religious God or whatever you believe in, and I chose kindness. I'm talking about the kind of kindness that Dolly Parton or Keanu Reeves put out into the world. You know, they're kind to people, but they don't let people take advantage of them. So I even wrote a little quote in the book from myself saying, "Replace God with kindness." And after I finished the introduction, I signed the little contract that's in the book, and I chose a cute little notebook for my morning pages and my exercises. The morning pages are just like 3 pages of stream of consciousness that you write in the morning. And I chose this book to record everything because I thought it was really cute. And on the cover page, I drew this character. This is Raven from Ever After High. I always draw a character with the same name as myself on the cover page to get over that fear of the first page that a lot of artists have. So I did that. And then one of the first exercises that the author encourages you to do is to come up with an image of your inner critic. It could be a shark, it could be a snake. I chose Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because there was someone like this in my childhood. They actually looked like Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they were just a horrible person. So I chose that image for my inner art critic. And then you're supposed to like put this huge cross through the image, which I did. And every time I look at it, I laugh because I think it's hilarious. And do I think I ruined this drawing by putting a cross through it? Absolutely not. I am going to give you a piece of advice that I got in animation school that has stuck with me even after 10 years later, and that is, don't fall in love with your drawings. I know so many artists that are so enamored with their drawings that if something goes wrong or they make a tiny mistake, they freak out. But you know what? It's just a drawing, and you can always do another one. When you have to do 24 slightly different drawings that add up to 1 second of animation, you tend to be not too precious about your art anymore. So that is my advice to you. Don't fall in love with your drawings. So after that, I started the morning pages every morning, and I'm not sure if they're really doing anything. Maybe if I keep doing them, something will like come up and I'll realize something, but at the moment they're just like thoughts that I've recorded in this book. And I read the first chapter. I did not relate to it that much because the author talks about shadow artists, who are these artists who don't pursue their dreams for whatever reason. And I didn't really relate because I did pursue my dream and I did achieve it for 7 years. But I'm more looking for like advice on what to do next, like where to go next in my career. So hopefully the other chapters will help me with that. I did do the exercises in week 1. I took myself out on my first artist date. And for that one, I decided to go for a walk in the snow. Yeah, it's like minus 16 degrees here. And I was like, do I really want to do this? But it's what my inner artist told me to do. So I did. I bundled up in like 5 layers, snow boots, hat, gloves, everything. And I went out for a walk to the park that's nearby. It's about a 10-minute walk, and in the cold, that is very, very cold. So I'm glad I like dressed appropriately. And when I got to the park, I'm really glad I did this because it is so beautiful in the snow. There was no one else there. There were a bunch of birds and squirrels like flying and running around, and it was really lovely. I walked around the park for a while, just like enjoying the scenery, the snow and everything, and it was really lovely. So that was a really nice artist date. And I also did some other exercises that were in the book. I didn't do all of them. I can always come back and finish the ones I don't do. So the ones I did were the 5 different lives that you kind of imagine for yourself that is not the one you're living. And I imagined myself as a tennis player, as an equestrian, and a few other things. And she also encourages you to think about why you wrote down these different lives. Like, do you want to start tennis lessons? Do you want to do something like that? So just do something small that relates to what you've written down, basically. So I think I might try dressage lessons. I used to do dressage when I was 12, have not done it since. Am I just going through a midlife crisis and trying different things? Maybe, but I'm going to look into that and see what happens. And then the other exercise I did was the 3 critics or monsters, she calls them. So you think about 3 people in your past who gave you like bad advice or said something mean to you about your art. I went through 3 of those, and I realized that even though I remember a lot like how bad and horrible these people were, despite that, I still succeeded every single time. So one told me that art is just a hobby, you'll never make a career out of it. And I did. I proved them wrong. Whether that was out of spite, it doesn't matter. I achieved my goal. One told me that I would never make this audition that I had for like singing in a choir for the radio. And I did. Somewhere out there is a child version of me singing on the radio with a children's choir. So I succeeded in that too. And then the last one was one of my art teachers, and she actually told me, you deserve an A, but I'm going to give you a B so that you work harder. And that is just ridiculous. It did not make me want to work harder. It just made me give up. But in the end, it didn't matter, because when you apply for art school, you don't need grades. You need a portfolio. So that didn't, in the end, her pettiness didn't affect me whatsoever. So those were the 3 exercises I did for week 1. And I think week 1 went pretty well. I enjoyed my artist date. I did my exercises and my morning pages. I'm looking forward to week 2. Hopefully it'll be like more relatable for me, because I am trying to find a new, different path with my artistic career. I don't think I'll go back to animation. It's just not a good time right now, and there's hardly anything out there. That was my experience with week 1 of The Artist's Way. I'll keep doing updates on this channel, maybe like halfway, and then at the end when I finish the book. If you like this channel, please subscribe. I will be doing more cute art videos and some travel videos, because I'm still traveling this year. I hope you enjoyed the first video on my channel, and I will see you next time. Bye!